So beautiful. Well, if you know the history of Armenia, you'll likely agree that the people are resilient. They are survivors, even after a devastating genocide. Our next stop, the Genocide Memorial in the city of Yerevan. And I do have one warning. Some of the images you are about to see are quite graphic.
So now let's see what we have here.
Haik Demoyan is on the hunt for truth. The truth of what happened to an entire generation.
This is from the series of the front page coverage of Armenian massacres and killings.
Demoyan is director of Yerevan's Armenian Genocide Museum. He regularly scours eBay and other online sources for evidence of the Armenian massacre by Ottoman Turks.
See how newsworthy news were. That's why we showed it. So on front pages. So two issues without any omitting, so covered the Armenian massacres in Istanbul in 1895.
The genocide involved a series of mass killings from 1894 to 1918. 1.5 million Armenians lost their lives, details disputed by the Turkish government.
Here we see Berlin-Baghdad railway and transportation of Armenian deportees.
The Genocide Museum offers a disturbing up-close look at the horror.
What is important here, no food supplies, no water were delivered and no stops. So many of them died because of starvation, because of thirst.
A horror that Demoyan and Armenians worldwide will never forget.
Have you had any feedback from them, the Turkish government, on what you've put together here?
Let me put it in this way, my answer. We are on a heavy attention of that side in many terms.
50 years after the genocide, Armenians demanded recognition. In 1967, on a hilltop overlooking the capital city, this genocide memorial was built.
This is the eternal flame, which has been lit constantly for the last 50 years. It's surrounded by 12 pillars, which represent the 12 historic provinces of Armenia.
A tall spire points to the sky, representing Armenia's national rebirth.
This monument here symbolizes the hope of all Armenians that one day we will unite in one land and we are not scattered around the world.
The genocide drove Armenians from their homes and spread them around the world. Every year on April 24th, thousands come back to this memorial and remember.
The Armenian genocide did force thousands of survivors to flee, and now more live outside the country than inside. However, some have come back, and we now meet Armenian repatriates, including one man from Fresno.
We have with milk and without milk, and it's fresh made. We serve it fresh because we make it here in the back.
27-year-old Jiro Balyan is serving up something new in Armenia, fresh gelato. He manages Yerevan's first ever gelato shop.
We have 18 flavors of gelato. This is what we can put in the fridge, but we have 258 flavors in our warehouse.
The most popular flavor, cheesecake, is hard to keep in stock.
So that's the base?
That's the base. It's a milk base.
Jiro is Armenian, but originally from Syria. He's now moved back to his family's homeland to make it a better place.
You can't do a change when you're outside Armenia. You can't. This is proved. So why don't we move here? Why don't we use the easy way to keep our children Armenians?
I always say that I was not born in Armenia, but Armenia was born in me.
41-year-old Armin Devejian heard that calling. Born in Philadelphia, he grew up in Fresno, attended Clovis West High School, then Fresno State. But now Armenia is home. He moved to Yerevan 10 years ago to work for the church.
What you can do here is things you cannot do in the diaspora. You can actually focus on the future. You can focus on what can we do to make Armenia a strong, stable, free country.
National pride is abundant in this young democracy. You see the signs everywhere. But the work to overcome a genocide and 70 years of Soviet domination requires the help of outsiders.
This is the small center of Yerevan, that's what it's called. And you can tell the generations of Soviet buildings.
55-year-old Salpi Gazarian moved to Armenia from Glendale. She worked for the former foreign minister and now runs a foundation to promote democracy and develop the economy.
This is a world that I want to change in a way that my grandchildren, my neighbors, my friends will want to visit.
It's a common hope from diasporan Armenians who've moved back to the homeland.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
We can try it now.
That this country will grow and prosper, and other diasporans will do the same.
I can talk for hours about that. You have to come here. We Armenians has to be here physically to do the change.
Of course, food is always a big part of any visit to a foreign land, and that was certainly the case for our trip. The Central Valley has many, many wonderful Armenian restaurants, but we found the cuisine in Armenia is somewhat different than what we're familiar with here, however, equally as good.
From the kitchen of a village bed and breakfast,
Here are mushrooms from mountains, chickens, sour cream, and onions.
This is considered a VIP seat, in my opinion.
to a high-end restaurant in Yerevan.
That's a whole lamb shank which is a bit more spicy, and those are the size of my dolma.
Armenian cuisine has been influenced by people and countries.
Turkey, Greece, especially Soviet influences. Borscht is not an Armenian food, but it's something that you'll find continuously in homes, especially during the winter months.
Cuisine expert Lucy Davidian says the food is healthy and simple.
There's a lot of stuffed food, there's a lot of use of vegetables, a lot of use of meat, very little use of spices and ingredients.
This is Armenian pilav. I don't know in English what pilav. Pilav, yes.
We have garden, and we keep this garden just for our use, for our kids, in order to use healthy food, yeah, healthy vegetables.
Villagers grow and use their own vegetables, fruits, and meats. In the city, people shop farmers' markets for produce, cheese, and breads. We saw no fast food chains in the cities, and some food is still made the old-fashioned way.
The tonir is a below-ground brick oven. Wood is smoldering at the bottom, and when the bricks turn red, it's hot. Now, meat can be cooked in there, as well as Armenian bread called lavash.
Lavash appears on every table. The soft flatbread is a staple and is great as a wrap with cheese and greens. Restaurant owner Jarer Avanian has been serving his Eastern Armenian specialties for 13 years, rebuilding on a cuisine he says was tarnished by 70 years of Soviet domination.
Women left the homes, so the kitchen was left behind. When I came to Armenia in '93, I realized how poor the Armenian kitchen has become.
I'm tasting my first authentic dolma in Armenia.
Avanian's restaurant, Dolmama, has contributed to a cuisine revival movement. He regularly serves dignitaries and hungry journalists who happen to stop by.
There's a slight spice to it, but it's so good. It's wonderful. All right, from food to drink, now we're talking wine and brandy, both significant exports in Armenia and a significant part of its history.
It's a tradition that dates back thousands of years, making wine from grapes. The Armenians have been doing it perhaps longer than anyone. Check out this cave where the world's oldest winery was discovered near the village of Areni. Archaeologists figure it dates back 6,000 years. And it's a practice that continues to this day. Areni villagers sell their homemade wines at roadside stands. Trust me, that's not Coca-Cola in those bottles. Winemaker Michael Gregorian of the Arpa Alco winery says Areni grown grapes have a dense flavor, unlike any other.
This is why this unique type of wine is produced with a unique taste, which a little bit similar to Shiraz.
This winery produces 150,000 bottles a year. Most go to Russia, some to Germany, and very soon the U.S. market.
It's good.
And of course, all of you know very well that brandy is a strong alcoholic beverage.
From aged wine comes brandy, a more significant export. The Ararat Brandy Factory in Yerevan ships 5 million bottles a year. A local industry that contracts with thousands of grape growers and employs 400 workers at this factory alone.
As the standards are really very strict for making Armenian brandy, you should make it exclusively from the spirits made from Armenian grapes.
And to drink it properly has strict standards as well.
You know, usually they say that while drinking brandy, we should hold the glass in our left hand, as it should be closer to your heart, just to warm it better.
A warm glass to enjoy, in moderation, of course.
This is just a symbol, which implies that, of course, brandy has a good influence on personal organism, but one should be really very careful not to drink too much in order not to look like him.